Broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. It's time for Gwinnett Business Radio.
And hello and welcome again to Gwinnett Business Radio. We are broadcasting from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio in the beautiful Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. Mike Salmon alongside the beautiful Stephen Julian. What are you doing, Stephen? You're hiding.
Last show in our archives, you didn't like that I was looking at you, so I've decided to look away just to not distract you at the beginning of the show.
Has anyone ever told you you're weird?
Yes. I'm slightly annoying. That's my gimmick, and I live it well.
All right. We've got some wonderful guests in the studio today.
We have fantastic guests today.
Tara Washington is with us from the Coca-Cola Roxy, and Sandy Hill from Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation.
And Tara Washington is also with Live Nation.
Yes.
Yeah. They own the Coca-Cola Roxy. Sorry, I'm correcting you at the beginning. See, this is why...
You're just giving additional information.
I'm making it an even
I knew
better
all this,
interview.
but I was saving it for Tara.
Oh, sorry. Well, why don't I get out of the way and let you start talking to Tara?
No, I want you to ask the first question
Okay,
now.
Tara Washington is here. She is with Live Nation and the Coca-Cola Roxy. Tara, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Now, people in Atlanta probably know what the Coca-Cola Roxy is, but they might not know what Live Nation is. So talk about what you do with Live Nation, and we'll get into the relationship with the Roxy as we talk.
So Live Nation is one of probably the biggest music organizations in the world. We own Ticketmaster. And we produce live music. We also have a division, which is the Clubs and Theaters division, which is what I'm a part of, and that includes your House of Blues, Punchline, which is a comedy club in California. So they also have a division that does special events in addition to entertainment in different capacities.
You are the special events sales manager with the Coca-Cola Roxy. Is that correct?
That is correct. In Atlanta, Live Nation owns 3 venues: the Coca-Cola Roxy, which is down at the Battery, across from the all-new Truist Park, and we also own Tabernacle and Buckhead Theater.
Sounds like a great company and a cool company to work for. I'm sure you love your job. What is your specific role with the company?
It's a very cool company to work for. They're very dynamic. I specifically do special events. So my focus are corporate companies, nonprofits. We do social events. Really, it runs the gamut. I can do a wedding one day, and I can do a fundraiser the next day. We do award shows. There's actually a division of the ESPYs that are for college students that have been done at the Coca-Cola Roxy. So really, it runs the gamut. As long as it's not ticketed, as long as no one is coming in and saying, hey, we need to buy a ticket to this event, then it falls in my wheelhouse.
I like where we might go with this, because when you talked about Ticketmaster and you talked about Live Nation, everybody's got an image of that, and they think of a concert. But when it comes to special events, and we are Gwinnett Business Radio on Business RadioX, if I'm a business owner, what kind of event could I do? And I'm going to ask you from a minimum standpoint. I want to have as many business owners, because I think most business, I can't afford a special event, but it might not be as big and grand as you might think. So
Correct.
Talk about kind of some of the smaller events you've done that a business owner might listen and go, yeah, I could do that.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about the Coca-Cola Roxy. So the Coca-Cola Roxy used to be in downtown Atlanta, and we have relocated to the Battery when that was created. So our space is about 14,000 square feet, and there are 2 levels. And we have 3 event spaces. So we have our main hall, which is where our concerts take place. We also have our lobby area, which holds about 200 guests. And then we have a VIP room, also called the EP Lounge, which stands for Elvis Presley, because it's purple. And so that lounge holds about 100 people. So there's an awesome dynamic with the Coca-Cola Roxy, because we can actually do simultaneous events. One of our awesome partners is Home Depot. And we'll have a Home Depot party for one of their divisions downstairs, and it might be 200 people. And then in our VIP lounge, they have a smaller division for 50 people, and they're having their own casino night. So we can do smaller events, because some of the major companies in Atlanta have different divisions, as Live Nation does.
So with 3 different venues, and one of those being for 50 to 100 people, any business owner who wants to do a client event, an employee event, a family event,
correct.
A training, I mean,
Yes.
and I would imagine being at the Roxy, a little bit different than being at the back room of the local Italian restaurant down the street. I mean, so what are some of the touches that you and the can bring to the Roxy in that environment that they wouldn't get it at just a back room of a restaurant.
Right. So the Roxy is very, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say historic, but not really. You know, when you
It's got a historic feel, though,
it does.
right? Yeah.
When you walk into the Roxy, you're going to see a lot of memorabilia from artists that have been there. You'll see guitars on the walls that have been signed by the artist. Sheryl Crow may have, so you're getting that music lovers feel, but you're also getting state-of-the-art sound. You're getting state-of-the-art equipment. You're getting a screen and projector. You're getting a technician and production that goes into your booking with us. Also, we're at the Battery. So, the benefit is people can come in, have a small training during the day, and then they can leave and go to a Braves game, Or because the Battery is like I said, very unique in that they're open container space. You can go and hang out at one bar. Yeah. You can go, because I have events that I've done that it's a dry event for Wounded Warriors, for example. And, it's not going to have any type of liquor. But those who want to drink can go to a restaurant, they can have something to eat, and they can come to our space. It's a one-stop shop, essentially.
I'm sitting here envisioning a business owner who wants to do an event. Let's say it's an all-day training or an all-day kind of gathering or something. We've all been to those events where when we break for lunch, we're running across the street to the Chick-fil-A and we're running into the drive-thru. How about, hey, here's the Battery. Go enjoy lunch at any of the many restaurants and then come back. And oh, by the way, when we break at 3 or 4, do a little shopping and hang out. And Braves are playing tonight, so you can go. Yes. So the environment is just fantastic. I
absolutely. We love nonprofits because we can donate tickets for their charities, for fundraising events. We can do a ton of giveaways. So we really are quite unique out of the other venues in the area.
I'm assuming when there's no scheduled events or concerts there, it's available to rent during the evening as well?
Correct.
Is there opportunities that you have in-house food, or is it catered from elsewhere? How does that work?
So we utilize Delaware North. It's the same catering company that the Braves do. So we're one big happy family over there at the Battery. But yes, we do have some opportunities to really create anything. It's a blank canvas. And so when someone has that idea and concept, we'll connect them with our logistics manager, and we can kind of create anything they need. And again, we're going from 25 events, micro events, and then we can go even larger.
We're speaking with Tara Washington. She is with the Coca-Cola Roxy and Live Nation. She does special events for them. You did such a fantastic job of answering my question about kind of the minimum event. So now I'm going to do a favor back to you and ask you, who are the types of clients that you're trying to get in front of? Let's talk about your wish list. You handled my wish list of a small business owner kind of entry-level event. What's on your wish list? Who are you trying to talk to?
I'd love to allow people that are not necessarily ITP inside the perimeter here in Atlanta, and people who are outside the perimeter to know that they can come to our space. I was really fortunate when I first arrived to reach out to some of my business colleagues were in Alpharetta, and kind of have them come down there. They're giving them an experience. There's also a benefit that at the Battery there are several hotels. There's a new A-Loft that was just opened. There's the Omni. So you can actually make a little trip out of it. If you're outside the perimeter fairly far, but all of your employees are working remotely, which a lot of people are doing now. So it gives you an opportunity to kind of make a day of. So it doesn't matter your location, we can still assist you. If you're doing celebrations, if you're doing entertainment or live streaming conferences, we can assist you at that location. So I'm looking specifically for small to mid-size or even larger size companies who have challenges trying to find a space that fits all of their associates. If you are a company and you're based in Atlanta, but your associates are in Charlotte or they're in Alabama and they need to travel into Atlanta, you're not going to get that congestion per se of the Atlanta traffic, because we're just a smidgen outside of it, but we will allow you to come in. We can set you up with a hotel in the area. It's in walkable distance. You save yourself some gas, and we'll take everything from there.
Sounds like you do a lot of the work.
Yes.
Which is nice.
I wear a lot of hats.
Here's what we want to do. You kind of help make it happen.
Absolutely.
How do you handle special events on maybe a concert day or a day where there's a Braves game?
So we work with the Battery and the Braves. We have weekly meetings with the Braves team. And so we do a lot of cross promotions. So we may have an event that we're doing and we may need a breakout space that doesn't fit our capacity. We'll work with the Braves because the Braves actually has space as well. So what we do for concert days, we try not to do an event on the same day if it is an event that is, let's say, in the evening. If you have a lunch that you're trying to do or a training that only takes up from 8 o'clock until 12 o'clock, you can totally come over. We'll flip the space. But we do try not to have too many conflicts of that. We work with our concert division, and we'll find out if there's an event that they have going on. We'll try to challenge it and say, hey, we would like to do this event. There's a really cool process that we have. As it pertains to Braves Days, really the only difference is the number of people that are outside the building. And the parking, that's probably going to change. Typically, parking is complimentary for the first couple of hours, but if a Braves game, it might be a little bit different. But we'll work with you. We can do valet parking. We can do parking tickets. So we'll work with any of our clients.
And I could see where, and I think Stephen touched upon it earlier, where you do something during the day and then you're done and you all go to the Braves game afterwards.
Correct.
Obviously, we're in some unique times with the whole COVID-19 pandemic, the social distancing. How are you handling all of that?
So we have actually come up with 5 different concepts that we've created, which include virtual events, hybrid events, micro events. We do drive-in events. So for the amphitheater that's in Georgia here that we have, some of our outside theaters, we're actually going to try and bring some concerts to those areas and allow people to use their cars to be able to tap into the live music. So they're spaced, they're away, but they're also able to get that experience. In addition, we have our hybrid events. We'll do a concert. We've had some artists that reach out to us that they want to do things for fundraising purposes. There may be a charity right now that they're trying to raise money for, and they'll come in very minimal. It'll be probably less than 10 people. We'll do the whole production for them. We'll stream it live, and everyone can see it from the comfort of their homes.
All right, Tara, I'm going to ask you a question. We've talked about training events and lunches and events that are fairly normal on the scale. I'm going to ask you to be a little, not be creative, but it kind of put you on the spot here. Maybe the weirdest event or the most unique event or most out-of-the-box event that you've seen that was like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool that you guys have hosted.
We have had one in particular. It was a flying DJ. And this young lady was on aerials on stage, and she was also DJing. So she'll be upside down, she'll be flipping around, and she'll change the track, and then she'll do another trick, and then she'll come around and she'll change the track. So that was interesting, to say the least. Very creative. But one of my favorite things to do is outside of the box events. As we're in a pandemic, as you mentioned, I love to do the micro events. We have people who were not able to do their weddings, because they were quarantined at home, but they still kind of want to have that celebration as the states are starting to reopen. So I love having them come into showing them the beautiful chandeliers that we have that can be color coordinated, and it can be heightened and lowered, and say, hey, we'd love to invite you and your closest friends and family. It may be 25 people or 50 people, and we create this beautiful display and a dinner and a little small celebration for them. So our micro events are a little bit smaller. They kind of encourage social distancing. And then we also have conferences that are starting to look at us again. And we have created these amazing different diagrams that allow to see, okay, we'll have 2 people per table or 4 people per table, or we'll space you out in our stands upstairs and skip every other seat. So we've really tried to take this time, this kind of downtime for us, to really think outside the box, to welcome people in and be very comfortable.
Given the fantastic answer that you just gave, I may ask the dumbest question in the history of mankind. As we do this show at the end of June 2020, you stated it, we're starting to reopen. Every week is a different, shift of what we're doing. The big part of the hall, the big part of the Roxy that seats, I think you said up to 3,000, I think. Mm-hmm. Are there plans as of right now to, hey, we can open at 33% capacity? Or is there a plan in place of bringing back crowds, even if they're smaller at this point in time?
Correct. Yeah. Ironically, I have an event this evening.
Oh.
It's the first event that we have had post-pandemic.
Hey, we got breaking news, Mike.
Yes, it's one of my micro events. It's a celebration for someone's milestone birthday, and they have a long, beautiful estate table, really longer than where we originally were going to put them at. We're putting them in our main hall so that they can space out. They're deciding to do plated dinner versus a buffet, so there's not too many people there. Right. And then in July, I have another event. That's my second one, and it's also going to be the biggest for us post-pandemic in terms of the spacing. Is 200 people.
Nice.
And so we also, for that event, we're having them in the main hall, because that group can actually fit in our lobby. but we're spacing them out. We've got markers. All of our staff will be wearing PPE masks. We'll be prepared. So yes, they're starting to come out. Our social clients are starting to come out and say, hey, we want to celebrate. So I love it, and I'm very excited about it.
That's wonderful. Tara Washington, the Special Events Sales Manager with the Coca-Cola Roxy and Live Nation. You mentioned also the Tabernacle downtown. Do you handle events for that, or does somebody need to talk to somebody else if they want to do an event there?
Yeah, so if they can send any request to me,
okay,
and then I will do an email introduction to the sales managers that are at both of those other venues, and we cross-work. We are a girl power team, all female-run business. Even our production managers are all female. Logistics managers are female. And, we like to work together as a team. So, yeah, if you want to be in the heart of the city, not a problem. I'll help you with that as well.
All right. Best way to reach out to you. And also, if you can give us the website where people, I assume on the website, can see photographs of the venues and rooms that are available.
Correct. If you go to www.CocaColaRoxy.com, you'll be able to see a virtual tour. You'll be able to see images of events that we've had. And then you can reach out to me directly at Tara Washington at livenation.com. That's kind of a VIP pass, into emails that'll kind of get you through some of the red tape that you would typically go through. So, yeah, definitely feel free to reach out to me anytime. Tara Washington at livenation.com.
You got a cool job.
I do. I love it.
Now, when the Braves get back into action and everything, when there's games going on, do you have to be there for all the events at the Roxy?
Any event that's mine that I procure is I'm usually there for. I want to make sure it goes seamlessly. And the Braves are coming back very soon.
Absolutely.
End of July, we hope.
Yes, fingers
Steven
crossed.
can't wait. Biggest baseball fan in the world right
Bring
here.
Bring it.
Really? I am a Orioles fan.
Nice.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. Listen, Camden Yards, one of the best parks to go see a game in the country.
It is. I'm a Maryland girl.
There you go. I like it.
Tara Washington, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Mike, before we get to our next guest, I just want to remind everybody that Gwinnett Business Radio does come to you live from the Subaru Gwinnett studios. Love is what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Our listeners can get big savings and enjoy their hassle-free experience at Subaru of Gwinnett, where people sell cars. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com and join their family today. Or you can come in and see the difference. If you're already a Subaruist, then follow Subaru of Gwinnett's Facebook page for the latest Subaru offers, news, and community events.
Before we bring in Sandy Hill, who is waiting patiently, speaking of baseball, your son JJ was telling me, I know every couple of years, you guys do a little tour around the country and go to major league ballparks.
Yes.
Obviously, with the whole pandemic, that's changed. But
Yes.
I heard you might still be doing that this year?
No.
No? Okay. I thought it was pushed back.
Well, if they open the season and if we can make it
this
happen.
year.
Yeah, so this year we were planning on going to oh crud, I forgot where we were going. So every year we've gone, except for one when we went out to Montana to see where we used to live. Every year for the last 6-7 years we've gone to Chicago, we've gone to Philadelphia, Pittsburgh,
I think you did like
we've
Milwaukee
gone to
and
Fenway.
stuff last year.
So no, last year we went to Detroit, Cleveland, Detroit, and Toronto. And then drove home in one day from Toronto, which was hilarious and awesome, and we'll never do it again.
With all three boys?
Yes. We have more drivers now,
God
which
bless
is a
you.
big deal. Yeah. We were going to go. It was going to be Milwaukee this year. We were going to do Milwaukee, and I think we were going to do Minnesota. No. Oh, sorry. We were going to go to Florida. We were going to go to Tampa and Miami.
You weren't even close.
Yeah. You know what? It's starting to run together. We're basically anything within driving distance. We're down to about 6 left. That we need to do. And we were going to go to Tampa because Stacy and I have been there, but the boys haven't. And we went to see Marlins Park when Tech played a bowl game, but of course there was no baseball game. We want to go in Marlins Park because those two stadiums, the one good thing about those two stadiums, we can sit anywhere we want because nobody's there. Those teams
well,
stink.
you know how they decide what time to start the games. They just say, what time can you be
What
here?
time can you be?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
How long was the drive from Toronto to Atlanta?
We were, so funny story. We were in Toronto and we went to the game and we were going to get up at like 5 a.m. and leave. So we're leaving the game and Stacy looks at me and we start talking on the walk back to the hotel and she was like, maybe we should just leave now. And I was like, yeah. So we drove all night. So we left at about, I think it was about 11 p.m. and we got home at, I think, 6 p.m. the following day. So it was a 19-hour drive.
Wow.
Of course, there were some stops and we took rests.
Took turns. You'd nap, she'd drive, vice versa.
And Jay drove a little bit, and it was crazy. But it was a lot of fun. Toronto's a great city. Detroit is a very underrated stadium, and Cleveland. That's one of those rare. So Baltimore's like this, Boston's like that. You know, the real baseball towns where there are real fans who actually watch the game. Cleveland is a real baseball town. They really get into the game and they enjoy it. So.
Absolutely. Sandy Hill has left the studio.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
She's coming back. Come on back.
Sorry.
We didn't mean to ramble
interrupt
so
this
long.
week in baseball to now talk to Sandy Hill.
Yeah, Sandy is here with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation.
Yes.
And I guess, in all honesty, I did not know till the other day that you were coming on the show, and we're glad to have you here. But the honest part was not that you were coming on, but the honest part was that I got my mortgage through you.
Yes.
I was like, I know Sandy Hill.
Yes.
So I know you're reputable and you do a great job and everything.
Thank you.
Why don't you take it from here and tell us all about Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. From this point on, will only be known as Fairway Mortgage to save
Okay.
time.
That works. Thank you so much. And it was great working with you always. Hey, I have to first share with you my NMLS number. Get the regulations out of the way. It's 167565. And Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation is an equal opportunity fair housing lender.
Okay, hang on.
Now you can't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Now I'm not in trouble.
Yeah. So
now we're all good.
You All right. By the way, you're only supposed to ring it once, right? That was Mike ringing the bell. We'll get to the bell later. Okay. So you have to do that because you, like me in my industry as an independent financial advisor, there are some regulations and all that kind of stuff, right?
Lots of regulations.
All right. So we've gotten that out of the way, but I love
Yes.
how you did it at the beginning. Make sure there's, let's get it right from the beginning.
Take that, regulators.
Yeah. So I think everybody listening knows what a mortgage is.
Yeah.
But I think mortgages is one of those things that people kind of could easily get confused or not realize they don't know what they don't know, right?
Right.
So so instead of saying, hey, I help people with their mortgages, answer the question this way. How is Fairway different from a lot of other mortgage companies out there?
All right. Would love to. And you know what, Stephen, I've been in the business 37 years. So I've been with a lot of companies, and I'm going to share with you. Yes, I'm a little prejudiced, but Fairway is hands down the best company I've ever worked for. One of the main benefits we're offering our clients right now that I don't know a lot of other lenders offer, we allow our borrowers to become fully approved. Go through underwriting, the entire process, before they even have a home. So most other lenders, they don't do that until the borrower has a property. They know they have a sure deal. But Fairway wants to give our borrower the advantage.
And is that different than someone else who says, oh, you're pre-approved? Is fully approved different than pre-approved?
Absolutely. And it's kind of pre-approval, pre-qualification are terms that are used synonymously, but they are not in fact at all alike. A pre-qual is simply, hey, I have your information, I have your credit score, but you may not have the income docs, may not know where their money's coming from. Money is pretty important, right? So
Pre-qual is almost like, hey, you can keep talking to me as the mortgage person. I think you might be a
Yes.
good candidate, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But when you say fully approved, you literally mean like the money's that all you got to do now is find the property. You don't have to worry about anything else with the mortgage.
That means we have gotten their W-2s, their pay stubs, their bank statements, their credit scores, and then we have processed the loan, and they have gone to our real live underwriter. They are completely approved. It's a loan commitment. So what that means, my borrower is essentially a cash buyer. So case in point, borrower in April came to me and said, hey, we want to be in a specific neighborhood, specific school district. Very competitive, right? When you want to really get it down to a certain area. They got pre-approved. They, in fact, looked at a house last week. There were 7 offers on the home that they wanted to get. Sellers looking at a pre-qual, pre-approval. Which one do we take? This pre-approval is a loan commitment. All we need is an appraisal and title. Hey, guess what else? They had no financing contingency because that's already done. All we have to do is get the appraisal and the title, and we're going to close in 14 days. Guess who won?
Your client.
Our client.
Boom.
So you get the whole thing closed a lot quicker.
Yes.
And you can get the house you want if you're going to stand out from the other buyers. That's obviously
absolutely
a big
correct.
thing.
That is key.
I think there's another thing that kind of sets you apart, and that is you are talking with your current clients as rates start to move in favor of your clients, correct?
Are you talking to me, Sandy?
I am talking to you, Mike. Not
You guys-
just now.
Yeah,
Just
you guys
not
talked
now.
before the show, right? So talk about that as rates, because we
Yeah.
said this in the last interview, we're in the midst of this little crazy pandemic, and one of the things financially is mortgage rates have come way down.
They have, and it's a great time to have a review of where you are. My goal is to be sure that my clients throughout the life cycle of their loan, they're in the best position possible. So I reach out to my database via monthly touches with newsletters, communications. You're getting all those, right, Mike?
I'm getting the emails. Yes,
He's
I am.
opening them and pouring over them.
Another email from Sandy.
He comes in before the show and is like, "Hey, let me talk about this. What Sandy sent me this. What does this mean?"
Just last week, I said, "Did you see what Sandy sent
See what
me?"
Sandy said in the newsletter? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, we're being silly. Sorry.
That's okay. So, yes, my job is not just during that loan, not just to get them closed, but throughout the life of the loan to be sure they're in the best position. I'm not just a loan originator. I consider myself a mortgage planner. So my mortgage planning, that goes on even after your closing. So in this time, I'm reaching out to database members and saying, hey, let's take a look. Let's see if we can get rid of your mortgage insurance. Let's see what the benefit is to you. And that takes into consideration more than just rate. I mean, we want to be sure if somebody says, hey, yeah, that sounds great, but I'm only going to be in my home another 3 years. Then we need to do the cost analysis. How long is it going to take to recoup your closing cost? There's always going to be closing cost. You're going to roll it into the loan amount in most cases, but we still have to look at what is the cost of refinancing. So my job is to get those numbers in line for my client.
So I have it as my goal to try to only ask one dumb question per show, and my dumb question didn't turn out to be a dumb question with Tara, so I think I still got it on the board. So I think I'm going to ask it this way, and you tell me if it's a dumb question. So when it comes to helping someone with their mortgage, whether it's a refi or whether they're purchasing the house, there are so many different factors, and I think for a time it was just get the monthly payment down as low as possible. And there's still a scenario where that makes the most financial sense, but that's not always the right answer. Sometimes it's, I'm shortening the length of my loan. Sometimes it's just getting into the right house or whatever. As you've done this for a while and with a lot of different clients,
37 years.
Yeah, you started when you were 10.
I did.
What are some of the main things that you've seen? Could you boil it down to a couple of good pieces of advice for people that what's the best, what are some of the best answers, or what are some of the key questions they need to be asking about their mortgage?
So I'm going to, number one, and I might turn this around, I'm going to ask them.
Good.
My job is to find out their objectives. So I may have...
See what she did there?
That was awesome. Well, and listen, in her industry, that's not always the case. A lot of times it's just give me your numbers and I'll give you a quote, right?
Yes, and Stephen, I am not a rate quoter.
Oh.
I am a mortgage planner.
Ooh.
Write that down.
Mike,
that down.
you only ring it one. By the way, with as many rings as you're doing, you've now passed me from the highest record that you didn't like. Okay, so you're a mortgage planner.
I'm
You
a
ask
mortgage
good
planner.
questions.
I ask questions. We need to know what is their objective. So right now, primarily, people say, hey, I know rates are low. What's that going to do for me? Should I do it? So my question is going to be, are you looking to just pocket money so that you can apply that towards, you're going to love this, giving your financial planner money to invest?
Oh, they all do that.
I know. They do. They should. They should.
They should. Yes, I agree.
That
with
was
you.
sarcasm by Stephen. For those of you out there in Radio Land.
And why is that? Because you, in fact, when they give you money to invest, earning a dividend, you're earning them more money than right now with the rates in the low threes. That's a low cost of money.
Right.
So take that additional money and give it to you so it can grow. Second strategy, which I'm using a lot, is having that money and saying, hey, make the same payment you're making now, but let's now take that $150, $200, $250 and also reduce the term of your loan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And cut the years off. So then you have interest savings.
Yes. Sorry.
We're in church all of a sudden. The church of Sandy and
hallelujah.
And financial peace and mortgage freedom. All right, I like it.
Yeah. So then you have interest savings and you reduce the term of the loan.
Yeah.
I have a lot of folks that say, hey, I want to get into the 15-year, but the reality is the 15-year is not priced significantly lower than the 30-year right now. So that spread used to be, say 10 years ago, a half to 3/4. Now it's only like a quarter, 3. So my strategy is you can always make a loan whatever term you want it to be, simply by paying more per month. I can provide that analysis. I will provide that. But you know what? I like to kind of plan. I'm kind of conservative. I like to plan for the what ifs. What if somebody loses a job? Just like in the scenario we're dealing with now. Somebody's furloughed, somebody all of a sudden, they don't have the same dollars. And the 15-year loan typically is going to be about another 30, 35, 40% higher in monthly payment than a 30-year. So play it safe. Get into the 30-year. Either A, invest the money with you so it grows, or B, apply it towards your principal reduction. That's fine. You can put whatever you want towards that. Make it whatever your term you want, but kind of plan for that rainy day worst case scenario.
Which means you can stop making that extra payment but still keep the minimum and stay in your house.
Ring that bell.
Okay. Sandy,
Ooh,
the guest
bossy.
You got it.
On instruction from Sandy. All right, Sandy, let me ask this question. Let's talk about the not so ideal client. They might not have the greatest credit. They don't necessarily have a ton of money down. Those people have been preyed upon by some bad players in your industry,
right?
Or just lending in general across all this. So how does Fairway do business with them, and how do they do business with them?
You know what? We love to do business with anyone who wants to get on the path to homeownership. So I have many of my clients that come to me and their credit scores don't meet the criteria. Fairway has actually developed an entire department, and it's called Credit Tool. It's completely free to our clients. So I engage with the client and I share with them, hey, you know what? You're not quite ready right now to buy a home. We've got to get your credit scores up a little. We need to get on a savings plan and strategy. So we pull credit. We then share that information once we have the authorization to do that, of course. And then they get on a fully written strategic plan. You need to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Credit Tool gives them an account rep. They will assign that to them. They can call them anytime. They then know what they need to do, how they need to do it, and the time frame that it will take to increase their credit. And the best news, how much do you think that costs, Stephen?
$1,000.
No.
$2,000.
$2,000. No. Fairway does this completely free for our clients because our goal is to see that we can help not just the A-plus buyer, but the buyer that needs to build that path to homeownership.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. Listen, we've got so many things, other things that I'm sure people have questions for. We're going to leave it at that, though, because we want people, if they have other questions, to reach out to you, Sandy. So for those that would like to.
We've gone off the rails. This is awesome.
I'll tell you why in a second. But anyway, for those that would like to reach out to you, give us the website, any contact information you'd like to share with you and Fairway.
Great. So my website is easy, www.sandy, with a Y, S-A-N-D-Y, Hill, not a mountain but a hill, Fairway, Fairway.com, has information on there. And you can also go ahead and apply online when you go on, and then I'll get back with you immediately. My phone number is 678-713-3636, and my email is S as in Sandy Hill at Fairway M as in Mortgage, C as in Corporation.com. I'd love to answer any questions and help anybody we can.
Great job. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
The reason I hesitated earlier is I feel bad because Tara did such a great job.
We never rang the bell.
We didn't ring the bell for Tara ever.
Well, listen.
So Tara, can I do it for her?
Yeah, absolutely.
Get three rings for you, Tara. You did a great job.
First of all, it's your bell. Secondly, you after the first week of having the bell, you have scared me so much about the bell, and now you're ended up using the bell just as much as I did, if not more.
We probably did it a little too much today.
No, not at all. You know why we
points.
didn't do it too much? Because it was all about the guests. We didn't ring it for each other. We rang it for the guests, and they nailed it. They knocked it out of the park.
Great point, Stephen. Oh, wait.
Good job, Mike. Way to ring it only once and not 5 times.
Okay,
the saga of the
note,
bell continues.
Huge thank you to Tara Washington with the Coca-Cola Roxy and Live Nation, and Sandy Hill with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. We want to thank our listeners as well, and a reminder that you can follow us on all of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter at Gwinnett Radio X. Also, you can follow us on all of the podcast platforms out there, Apple iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, Spreaker. We're on all of the platforms out there. Please follow us there and subscribe to our shows as well.
Yeah, just go to podcasts.us.com and pick your favorite podcast platform. I'm just kidding.
Did you make that up?
Yeah. Although I'm going to now get that domain name, Podcasts R Us. I think there's $1 million idea.
And on that note, for Stephen, I'm Mike. Thank you, Amanda, for producing. We'll see you next time here on Gwinnett Business Radio.